So first of all, I downloaded, this is part of a larger drawing. It's, I think it was a GWR castle class. No, not the castle. I'm not sure now, but that's irrelevant. And as usual, I'm going through the technique rather than trying to draw it exactly to scale or size or whatever. So it's the technique of drawing. Now, I hope you can you all see my mouse moving about there? Hopefully you can. I've made it a bit bigger and it's blue. In the past, I would have said, okay, do a half profile and then revolve that profile round to get a complete. But that doesn't allow for this join here where you've got one cylinder, the funnel, join another funnel. So I thought of a different way of doing it, and I'm doing all this with one sketch only. So let's first of all, I've got it all pre-prepared this time, so hopefully it'll all work. So let me just move up a moment and switch on the body I've already done. So I've already got my firebox, as it were. Okay, just a sort of a pure cylinder with X length and X diameter. It really doesn't matter for the purpose of what I'm doing. Now the first thing we need to do is we're going to draw on top of you, or create it on the top. So what we need is we need to get some measurements. So the measurements I note down are from that point there to that point across what I'm calling the flange, if you like. We need the measurement of the outside diameter of the chimney. We need the measurement of this protrusion from there, say to there. And we need the measurement, which we'll guess because we can't see it, of the inside of the funnel, okay? The other thing you need is the measurement from there up to this first construction line. Now, having got all those measurements, I'm not going to actually go through the measurements. I've just explained where they've come from. So the next stage then is to create, let me just switch these on, is to create a tangent plane on this cylinder. And that's what I've done there. That's up with the construct, and you do a tangent plane. And the best way of doing the tangent plane is to make sure that it's facing you one way. Hang on a minute, bear with me there. Whoops. You actually, and then if we take that off, just to recap, and you click on that and you do construct tangent plane and hit that, then you will end up with a tangent plane on that cylinder. Okay, so let me go back. Oops, I'm upside down now. So having got that plane there, which you can just see hopefully in yellow there, the next step is to create a plane that's offset from that. And that's where this measurement over here comes in. So I'll move up again, and there's our offset plane. Okay, and the distance between those two is that one there. It's the quick way of getting a plane up here that's at a tangent to that one. So we can now switch off this first plane. I'll switch them off as I go so that it doesn't confuse what we're looking at. Now it's on this sketch, on this plane, that we're going to draw a sketch. So let me get up there for you. So I want to try and keep both in. So I've drawn concentric circles. The outer one is the measurement across this flange. Okay, the next one in is the measurement across the maximum point up there. The next one is the outside diameter of the chimney, and the inner one is just a bit of guesswork. I think I made it a couple of millimeters. And then on the axis across there, you draw, let me just get to it. you draw a little circle there, which will become apparent as we go through. Now, having got them all up, the next thing is to get the flange on there, and I'm doing that using the emboss command. So what we do with that one is we can turn the plane off so it's not in the way. Let's turn them both off for now. So we highlight the whole of it and we extrude that down onto the firebox, if you like, which then gives us that. Oops. Now when you extrude down, I'll just go back one and we'll do it again. So you use extrude down, which is, where's it gone? Emboss, sorry. Emboss that one there. And then you've got the sketch profile, which is that which is selected. The face is that one. And then all you've got to do is say what depth you want it. That's showing at 2 millimeters for now, so you can see it. But I settled on about 0.5 millimeters. Again, the height of that is really, I suppose, in one sense, as small as you can make it, that the printer can handle. So actually you can see it when it's printed, because don't forget, this will only be thin sheet metal. So moving on to the one I've got earlier, it's on there, you can see it, okay? Hopefully you can see that. Now the next stage now is to move this little circle down as well. It's not a quiz, but you may have guessed what that little circle is. That's going to be our model for our rivets. So that comes down into there. In exactly the same way, you emboss it down and you alter the length to what you want. My rivets, normally I work out at about 0.3 millimeters and about 0.3 millimeters high. The printer prints them at that and they look good. Technically they're oversized for 00 gauge, but if I did them true to scale you wouldn't see them anyway. The next stage then is to put a small dome on that, like so. So there we have our flange and there we have our rivet. Now we have to put the rivets around the plate. So there they are around there now. Now I'll go into the edit mode to show you how I done that. And we covered part of this last time round. So you highlight the rivet you want. I used faces in this place. As you know, up here you can choose bodies, faces or features. I done faces because I didn't extrude it as a body. I extruded it as a face to join this plate. The distance and the number you have is up to you. You select the path, which I chose was the outer edge of the flange. Now if you leave it on identical, it ends up like that. And you can see over this side, because it lays them all out identical to the first one, they don't all actually sit where they should be sitting. You can see these are off the plate. So what you need to do to get them in the right place and also sitting off the plate in the right angle as it were, then we pick path direction, and that's our rivets all around there like so. Okay, right, next stage now is to extrude down the actual inner chimney, if you like. Straightforward extrude command, click on the line, extrude it down and go well in. Don't just come down to the edge of the cylinder, get right in. It doesn't matter how far you go in, because unless you want a hollow boiler, it's not going to matter. Next stage then is to create a curve at the bottom. I'll just go back one, and the way we do that quite easily is click that one. We go up to fillet and we pull the fillet out to, I pulled it out to just touching the rivets, because where the rivets are, it would be flat, not curved. Okay? And that gives us the fillet on that one. Next one down then is another extrude, and this time it's extruding this extra bit. Yeah, this was our sketch gone. is to create this bit here, okay? And then the next one then is to extrude it down a bit more, because I'll just go back on that one in case it's not clear. Let me go back to there. What I did was to extrude that down to where I wanted it, the bottom, like so, and then clicked on that one, the same one again, to extrude it down. So you can see I can get the collar around there in the same way, or rather easier than having to put a special extrude in anywhere, because you can extrude fine and then use the same extrude to take stuff away. So we end up with, let's go back to our drawing there. The next one now is more filleting, and that's on that one in there. I put some colours in to make it a bit easier. Again, I'll just go back and show you that one. Oops. Get up underneath it. And again, in the fillet command, onto there, and pull it out as far as you like, really. Let me just scroll in a bit. You can see that's touching the edge up there, but if you keep going, you can get it really as whatever angle or fillet size you want. So that's the filleting. I've coloured it in brass colour just to make it look nice. And then you have the same thing then on the top edges. Whoops. And you can see at the top edge I've done the same thing. Let's just go back one. What I've done this time, instead of the fillet, I've used the chamfer command. I lost it. There it is. Which you can go down there. Now obviously the shape of this you can change to suit what it is you're actually modelling. What I'm showing you mainly on this is how to create the whole thing from one sketch, and in particular get that joining onto a circular boiler with the rivets going around. The shape that you end up having here is dependent upon what you want. And then what we do then is, just to finish off, we just put a round bit on the top. Switch off the sketch, switch off the canvas so we can see what it is. Whoops, my mouse is very sensitive tonight. So that's it basically. I'll stop there for questions.